he had more chemistry with himself. I'm not. Brody doesn't want me to curse, so I'm not going to.
Well,
Well, I hope you're happy, Brody. You're making Dylan curse
okay.
and already breaking his New Year's resolution.
Oh man.
We cover all the pop culture news here on Earth, all the way out to the Gamma Quadrant. This is Rob from Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and you're listening to Talk Talk Punch.
It's the Golden Punchies yearly annual awards, something like that. Welcome to another episode of Talk Talk Punch. Thank you so much to both our audio podcast listeners and our YouTube viewers for joining us. I am Brody, joined by Tudong Dylan.
Hey.
And the new year baby of this 2024, Charlie Hickman.
I got my New Year's diaper on. I am enjoying beautiful golden showers behind me. I'm ready to roll.
Exactly what I was going for. If you haven't already, we'd love it if you subscribe so you can come back here every Wednesday to hang out with us and have some fun, which, oh by golly, we are going to do tonight. Because it's punchy season. It's the Golden Punchies. Look, we actually have an award made of solid gold, this is, and it's branded. Because it's Talk Talk Punch. This is the Punchy Award. You may remember a different one, but now it's real. I can touch it. I can bite it. Bite it. That's what you do with gold, right? Tudong, you bite it.
Don't bite your punchies, kid.
Absolutely.
All right. Is this our third annual Punchy Award? Charlie, you would know this. You're good with time.
I believe this is just our second punchy, third end of the year episode.
Oh, okay. Well, we've got awards to hand out, and one of my favorite things that we do all year, predictions. Not only are we given predictions for next year, but we are revisiting our predictions from last year. We're going to see who was right and who was not. All right, fellas. Should we get into the awards?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
Oh, that's not the right one. Hold on. Give me a sec here. There it is. I got it. Don't worry. Hey, look at that. Look. See? There it is. The Golden Punchy.
Cool.
All right. So, the Golden Punchies. We have a bunch of different categories we're going to be going through. We're each giving individual awards for these categories. And so, we will talk about those as they come up. Our order tonight is going to be Charlie, and then Tudong, and then myself. So, Charlie, we are starting out with the best new show of 2023.
This was the hardest category for me. There were a lot of really excellent shows that debuted in 2024. If you want a complete rundown of my most watched television show list, stay tuned for a special Patreon episode. But in the meantime, I will say that my favorite show of the year, after much deliberation, was The Last of Us. And it was fantastic. I laughed, I cried, I was on the edge of my seat. It's everything that you want from a TV show. It's just art. It's beautiful. You should all watch it. That is my punchy for best new show of the year.
It's too scary.
Nice.
Too scary, Charlie.
It's not too scary.
Too sad.
It's great television. It's fantastic television, Brody. Watch it. It's
sad.
art.
Very sad.
So sad and scary. I still haven't seen it, obviously. All right, Tudong, what is your best new show of 2023?
I am going to freely admit that I completely cheated on this one because technically it's not exactly a new show, but I don't care. It finally came back and I loved it when I saw it, and that is Frasier, the new revamped version of Frasier. And I gotta say, I was nervous going into it. I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and just get some Paramount Plus just for this show. It has other things too, luckily. And I really appreciated it. I thought it was fantastically done. I mean, it was heartwarming. The new characters gelled really well with Frasier and the entire whole thing. I mean, you get Niles and Daphne in there in another one of these seasons. But hey, Roz was there, and I thought that was fantastic. I loved seeing Roz and all of the things when it came to John Mahoney and Martin, the character.
Mm.
Fantastically done. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Charlie, have you seen it yet?
I've begun my watch. Yeah, we got to get Brody to watch a single episode of any version of Frasier,
Yeah.
or Cheers for that matter. Just one episode.
Oh, bro.
The 2024 challenge. One
Okay.
episode featuring Frasier Crane. You have like hundreds to choose from.
I've seen Cheers before. Come on, come on. I probably saw an episode of Frasier at some point in my life. I don't remember.
You're such a John Mahoney. All right, on we go. What was your show of the year, bro? Did you even watch one show? This was like the easiest for you because you only watched one new one.
I sure did. I watched a whole season of a show, and I started watching it, and I didn't like it at first. And then, as it kept going, I was like, ooh, you know what? I actually do like this show. And I liked this show so much, I said, guys, you got to watch this show so that we can review it on the channel. And that's Twisted Metal. Man, I had so much fun with this show. It didn't start off great. The first episode, I was like, I don't like this. This is not going well. And then it kept going. And I was like, I'm into it. They kept introducing more things. And then we reviewed it. We had a whole episode dedicated to a show that I watched. Charlie.
That's how big a deal it was. A landmark. Hey, links below, bro. Links below.
Hey, I'm a big Stephanie Beatrix fan. I thought she rocked it like she always does.
Also, Samoa Joe. Come on, Samoa Joe was Sweet Tooth. So, anytime I can get some wrestling,
is always fantastic.
Anytime I can get some wrestling mixed in with a TV or a movie.
And then, Will Arnett as the voice of that guy, even better.
Yeah. Although Joe's got a great voice. He could have done it. I think he could have. So, there's my new show.
Will Arnett rocked.
I'm actually really looking forward to a season 2 of this. So. All right. Next up, we have Best Returning Show. Dylan, I named this category specifically so you could put Frasier in there. I didn't say Best New Season. I said I'm going to put Returning so that Dylan can put Frasier. And then you put it as a new show. So, whatever.
After 10 years, doesn't it count as a new show? 10 years, bro. 10.
I'm counting that. I'm counting that as new. I like this category as a returning season because then it gives me a chance to talk about a different TV show that you guys will never watch, but that is also fantastic. So for me, look, this was also a hard one. A lot of good. Hey, we said goodbye to some wonderful shows. The last season of Ted Lasso, the last season of Archer. There's a lot of good other shows that I'm not going to mention here. But the one that I did pick was the second season of The Bear. Oh my goodness.
I love this show.
I love season 1. I thought it was fantastic. And I thought, okay, I'm curious to see what they do in season 2. Can they top it? And I'm telling you, man, the holiday episode in this show was like a little movie packed into an hour-long episode. It was fantastic. And it wasn't even the best episode of the season. But some of the best made, acted television I've ever watched. It is not a comedy. It is listed as a comedy. Please do not ever watch this thinking you are going to watch a comedy. Just because there's some jokes and some funny moments does not make something a comedy. I think we can all agree, right? If something has just a little bit of something in it, that doesn't mean that that's the category we should, right, bro? You'd agree to that?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie. But anyway, so on we go.
Nobody agreed to that. Nobody agreed to that.
It's a trap.
But it is so well done. It is fantastic. Look, it is anxiety inducing to watch. It's not like always a comfortable watch.
That's scary.
I mean, if you've ever watched like a kitchen show, like where there's just like all that pressure and time anxiety that is happening, you get a sense of like, oh my gosh, this is like, and it's just intense. But if you can kind of get past that, it is a tremendous watch. It is both of these TV shows I picked. They are just flat out art. So watch them, enjoy them.
This show was on the the special Charlie category last year of shows that Brody and Dylan have not watched, need to watch, something like that.
Definitely have not watched for
Definitely have
sure.
not. Yeah.
Not on a list of things you have watched, and that's okay. That's okay. No judgments.
What's this on? Is this on Hulu? What is this?
It is on Hulu. It is an FX show, I believe. So it's got the Hulu pipeline.
I'm gonna surprise
really
you
well
one
done.
of these days. I'm gonna show up and say, "Hey, guess what? I watched all of The Bear."
You're not gonna. You're gonna start one episode and you'll be like, "I'm out. I can't do it." But that's okay though.
All right, Tudong, what's your best returning show?
Now, this one is another bit of a cheat, but on the other hand, it in a way should make Charlie a little bit on the happy side because the best returning show would be season 2 of Reacher.
Did you watch season 1?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was great. I was really I saw some like YouTube clips, and there was one where he was helping out this dog, and like this guy was like he'd gotten it from his uncle had died or something like that, and he just cracked him in the face, and I was like, wow, I really need to watch this. And I did, and I was like, this guy is fantastic. I also had read some interviews that he was like people compare him to Tom Cruise, and he's like Tom Cruise with like a foot over him and 100 pounds. He is like almost exactly how I thought it was really, as someone who's around the same size as Tom Cruise, I was like, he's gonna play Jack Reacher? Interesting. All right. And hey, you know what? I could not argue with it. I was like, dude, Tiny Tom Cruise rocked it, and I love that. But this guy is definitely how, like, you really, if you read the books, like he's really good. And so yeah, I gave season 1 a try, and I really liked it. And season 2 is looking great as well. I've not finished it, but I'm into it, and I think it's going great. I'm very pleased, and best returning show. Interestingly enough, this is the new show that I started watching, and Frasier was I've seen for so long. It probably should have switched those. I don't know. Don't care either way. Best returning show, season 2.
I just remember Charlie and I telling you that you would really like the first one, the first
Yes.
season. So, I'm glad you jumped on board.
Yeah, hey, yeah, Team Reacher here.
It's a show that all 3 of us have watched.
Hey, we can do a review.
That's exciting.
If we do, then we gotta take a shot every time someone says you don't mess with the special investigators. The season 2, everyone's got to shoot it. We're gonna be so wasted by the time we get to the 3rd episode. We won't be able to film anymore, but it'll be fantastic. You don't mess with the special investigators.
That's content right there. Content.
That is
all right.
Patreon content, probably.
Oh gosh, a Patreon episode. All right, my best returning show was actually a show that was multiple seasons in, and it was the final season of this show. And I've talked about it before, and I really liked Succession. Oh man, did I like this show. I think I started watching it in 2023, and I think I got through every single season in 1 year. And for me, that's not something that happens. But I was so into this show, and the last season was crazy. It had some crazy twists and turns, and it ended, and you're kind of at the edge of your seat as you're wondering what's happening and who's going to kind of walk away with this company. And so I was fully on board as soon as it came out, and I was into it, and I'm glad that it ended when it did. I'm glad it didn't get dragged out for another season, because I don't know that it would have kind of captivated you some more. You know, like it was 4 seasons, and it's good. It's like we're here, we're like hitting you hard, and then we're out. And I thought it was great. So that was my best returning show, Succession. All right.
I'm going to keep all my recommendations to you with 39 episodes or less, bro, and then then you can watch it. Succession was 39 episodes. I'm saying that's
was
now.
It really?
And now I know you can do 39. Yeah, 39
no.
episodes. So now I know. If you say no, it's too many episodes, I'll say, well, Succession.
Oh no! So. What have I done? All right, biggest.
That'll teach you to finish the show.
I was so happy. Charlie, I finished a show. Oh, so now let me give you this whole list of other shows you can watch.
You got some work to do.
All right, biggest surprises. Now this could be anything. It could be a show, it could be a movie. It's kind of up to you. So Charlie, what was your biggest surprise of 2023?
Oh man, there were a lot of things that I wasn't necessarily expecting to be as good as they ended up being. And you go ahead and put up my picture here.
Okay.
Uh, but I tell you, when Amy and I we're just looking for a show to watch, and my wife is not like a big sci-fi lover, and typically not a fan of like slow moving television. So I saw this, didn't know anything about it. We're like, hey, let's put it on. Most of the Apple Plus stuff we've watched together has been pretty good. But I'm thinking in the back of my mind, probably slim chance that we're gonna get through much of this. And we start watching that first episode, and you look, a lot of modern couples these days watch. You're watching television, unwinding at the end of a long day. Maybe you got a cell phone in the hand. You're just doing a little scrolling. Maybe a little multitasking while you got the show on in the background.
Sure.
And certainly we're guilty of that. But man, this was a pretty captivating show, and the fact that she loved it as much as I did made it a really fun watch for both of us to get through. It is a slow burn, and there's some things that happen that don't make sense while they happen that you might go, that doesn't make any sense. That's dumb. But there's payoffs for it later, and as I've read, there's a whole book series that there's payoffs in future seasons that will happen for some of the stuff that maybe is a little bit confusing on purpose. But it's really well acted, it's really well made. It is a really great, just a great series that I didn't know it was coming. I didn't know anything about it, and I just popped it on, and it's one of my favorites of the year. This was in contention for a punchy for that, so I'm glad we had this category so I could highlight it here. You guys get a chance. This is a great watch, but I mean it is. I want to stress this. It's got a slow burn. So some of those Apple Plus, some of their best shows have that kind of slow burn feel. So if that's not for you, then I can totally understand that. But be patient with it, and it's good.
I actually do want to watch this one. I think I probably will. I got like 3 months of Apple TV because I wanted to watch Spirited. Um, but I saw this and I was like, oh, I think I want to watch that one.
Less than 39 episodes. So.
All right, Tudong, what was your biggest surprise of the year?
My biggest surprise of the year that I never ever thought was going to happen. Now, all right, so Barbie was the number one box office winner at 1,400,000,000 something something. The second highest one by 1,300,000,000 something something was Super Mario Brothers, which flabbergasted me. I never in a million years, if somebody was like, "Hey, was this going to be on the top 10 or top 5 box office earners?" I would have been like, "No, no, no, no." But it was. I don't understand. It makes absolutely, but you know what? It's probably because Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny was Luigi. That's probably what it was. That's it. All
That's
right. Well, it
exactly what
makes
it
more
was.
sense now. You got to talk it through. And
Have
Jack
you
Black
not
is Koopa.
have
That
you
makes
watched the Super Mario Brother movie?
no, I haven't. That's
Oh,
why I
you
was
should
so
watch it.
surprised.
Oh, it's really good.
Is it really that good? Because I've seen clips of it and I'm like,
No, I
yeah,
really enjoyed it.
really?
Dylan,
Charlie, did you watch it too?
I have, yeah, but I mean, Dylan's never played a Mario game, so there's that aspect of.
That's preposterous. I've played the Super Mario Brothers games, and they never really sounded like Chris Pratt, although they did sound like Charlie Day. That Luigi makes sense.
Oh,
Sense
I
sound like
thought Chris Pratt did a good job.
I just
Yeah,
didn't think it was going to be earning over $1 billion, making more than like a Christopher Nolan movie, making
yeah,
more than a Mission Impossible movie. I was stunned by this.
They did make a lot
yeah.
of money.
It's pretty good. It's not bad. We enjoyed watching that together as a family. I don't know there's some TV shows that are going to be on my list of recommendations for you to watch before you get to the Super Mario movie, but it was still good.
It was a surprise. The fact that it made so much and it was number 2 at the box office this year surprised me greatly when I saw
Yeah.
that. So yes, biggest surprise for me.
There you go. All right, my biggest surprise was a movie that came out that I had very low expectations for, so much so that I skipped it in theaters and just saw it on streaming. but I was kind of intrigued. And then it came out, and I was like, that was actually really good. And that was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Now, back in the day, back in the 80s, early 90s, I was a big Turtles fan. You know, I loved the original movies, minus the third one. That one was pretty bad. Didn't care for the live action ones that came out, you know, a decade or so ago. Liked the CGI one, the TMNT. And so when they announced, okay, we're doing another new Turtles movie, I was like, okay, you know, and they're going to be really young and they're going to, you know, it's kind of like a new origin. Oh, okay. You know, like what's going on here? What's this going to be, you know?
Is this
And
the
then
Seth Rogen one?
yeah, this is the Seth Rogen one. And then it came out and I think it came on to like Peacock or something like that. It was just kind of there. And so we watched it on our family movie night. And man, this was really good. And I'm really looking forward to the sequel. And oddly enough, like the highlight of the movie for me was Splinter, voiced by Jackie Chan, was so funny and had some lines in the movie that had me just cracking up. Like I enjoyed this movie so much as a Turtles movie. And like I'm super excited for the second one, you know, like to get to, you know, some of the big bad guys and stuff like that. But yeah, I was really surprised how much I enjoyed this. So there's my biggest surprise. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. Have you guys seen this one? You got to watch it. It's good.
Who did Seth Rogen play?
I think he was Bebop. He was either Bebop or Rocksteady. I think.
All right.
Well, do you have a Ninja Turtle that you relate to? Like, do you feel like I'm such a Donatello
Raphael
or something like that? Like, you're a Raphael? Okay.
Yeah.
Is Raphael's personality pretty consistent with the original Ninja Turtle movies, where he's kind of grumpy and
Yeah.
like okay, all right. What about Dylan? Which turtle would Dylan be? You think about that. Okay, you think about which turtle Dylan is and which turtle I am. You let us know after I do my next
Well,
category.
Charlie, you'd be Leonardo. I know that.
Okay.
If we were having to go off of us three, then I would probably say Dylan was Raphael. And I would probably be like a Donatello.
Wow, I don't get to be a Michelangelo?
Michelangelo, he's like the young one. He's you don't strike me as
the young one.
You strike me as more of a Raphael, and I'm like the tech
different
one.
ages?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I thought they were all just turtles that like wandered into ooze at the same time.
No, Michelangelo's the youngest. Raphael, I believe, is the oldest. I think it goes Raphael, Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo. I think.
Okay. All right.
Ooh. Don't light me up in the comments if I'm wrong about that.
All right, we'll have to do a whole therapy session on which turtles we are on a different app.
All right. And with the big surprises, those big positive things that we talk about, there's going to be some disappointments. So we've got our biggest disappointments. Now, let me preface this by saying if it's a movie or a show, it doesn't mean that it's bad, right? It just means that maybe our expectations were high and it didn't meet our expectations. So if we say something was a disappointment and you loved it, that's okay too. It just was a disappointment to us.
So Charlie? I think it's a nice preface because that's exactly how I feel about this. So my biggest disappointment is incredibly well made. It is incredibly well acted. It is an homage to a style of television show that I really enjoy. It features actors that I really like. I mean, it has all the ingredients of everything that I love, which is why I was so excited for it to come out. And as many episodes as I watched, I kept thinking, okay, this is the one where I'm going to fall in love with this show. But you can go ahead and put my slide up. So my show is Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne, and it is so well done. I mean, it is fantastic. Each episode feels like a little mini movie. It is great. Like if you love this show, I get it. You should love this show. But man, I tell you, the show starts starts with like always in like flashback form, which if you've watched this podcast for any length of time, you know is like my least favorite type of storytelling. Start your stories at the beginning, and she doesn't often make appearances until like halfway through the episode, which is a little bit like a throwback to like the Columbo days. So it's just a weird. It's a lot of emphasis and focus on the side characters, the background characters, and they do a really good job of developing them. And then one of them is either the murderer or murdered. And so it's kind of a weird. It's just a weird vibe. And she has this like superpower where she can just always tell if you're lying, like without ever making a mistake. So you can just anytime you say anything that's a lie, she just instantly knows it. But yet has somehow not managed to turn that very amazing superpower into some grand career or life. This really should be like the world's most boring like criminal law television show where she just sits there and people come out there and they're like, no, I didn't do it. She's like, yeah, he did. Off to jail. And then then the credits roll. But like it's really well done, and I thought I would love it. I love her so much, but it just wasn't for me. And we watched the whole first season, but just I was just disappointed. It just wasn't. It wasn't everything that I hoped it would be. My expectations were probably just too high. So
why is it called Poker Face?
because you can't read her poker face, man. She can, but she can read yours. She knows you're lying. She reads your poker face.
Gotcha.
Can't bluff her.
Do they ever use the Lady Gaga song Poker Face?
No. There's no affiliation to Lady Gaga.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, there is some casino action and things like that. So
I do love a good casino.
Yeah, but
also love some Lady Gaga.
It's just more of a backdrop than like a. It's not like a heist movie or anything. Anyway, that's funny.
And it's done by Ryan Johnson. I see it's from the writer-director of Knives Out.
Yeah. All the ingredients. But it's just not for me. That's okay. That's okay.
All right, Tudong. What was your biggest disappointment?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say the exact opposite of what Charlie said. This was not good. This does have people who enjoy it, and you know what? That's great. But let me tell you, I did not. My biggest disappointment, and it's not like I had high expectations, was The Flash. I saw it in theaters. Oh, if only that could have been what it actually was. Oh, bro. Oh, that's exactly why it was so disappointing. You've got Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. And what do you have him do? You have a bunch of like cartoon babies falling from the sky, put into microwaves, and you've got Batman dying countless times. And you have a really cool Supergirl, also, oddly enough, being really cool and yet dying several times. We're not going to make her that cool, apparently, because she's going to continually die. And so is Michael Keaton's Batman. Why would you do this? And okay, I'm not going to comment about Ezra Miller's life and problems. I'm not going to comment on that. What I am going to say is, yeah, I've never liked him as the Flash. That's not true. I've liked moments. Like I remember, like I saw a clip on YouTube with everybody was like faking out Commissioner Gordon, and he left. Oh, Ben Affleck was in it, and he was smiling, and he was looking like he was having a stroke. All he had to do was hang out with Barry Allen right then. He's like, "Hey, you want to hang out right now?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, not this time." Because he cannot talk without eating his own face, apparently. All he had to do was just hang out, but oh no, he's like, yeah, this guy who's clearly going to go back in time and do exactly the opposite of what I said, he is not worth my time. The dumbest Batman I've ever seen. I was disappointed that he was in it at all. Michael Keaton, he was going to be, they canceled Supergirl. They just canceled because of this stupid movie. That's what I think. So this was the biggest disappointment. Terrible DCEU. Zack Snyder poisoned like Detective Comics completely. And then he's got Christopher Nolan somehow brainwashed saying that he's like put his mark on all superhero movies. And I'm like, yeah, with what not to do? Christopher Nolan, what do you anyways, the biggest disappointment, The Flash. With low expectations.
This was disappointing. This was disappointing.
Did you see
Although, yeah, I did see it. I did not have high expectations going in. I walked away and I was like, yeah, that was about as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, not a surprise to me, or not a disappointment, because I didn't have any expectations. But
I
yes,
didn't either. I had low
it
expectations.
was a
And it
bummer. It
still,
was a bummer of a movie, man. It was a bummer of a movie.
yeah.
Although I did like the scene when Barry Allen was talking with the other Barry Allen in his apartment with his roommates, and the guy was just like poking on the keyboard, and they were talking about
I
like
thought it was
Back to the
hilarious
Future.
that he had to believe that Barry Allen wanted to ask this woman on a date. He had more chemistry with himself. I'm not Brody doesn't want me to curse, so I'm not going to. But, God.
All right.
Well, I hope you're happy, Brody. You're making Dylan curse and already breaking his New Year's resolution.
Oh man. Yeah, when I saw this poster, I was like, "Oh, that's the poster I'm going to put on here." I did it just for you, Dudong.
I know,
Salt
and I
in the
appreciate
wound.
it, Brody.
All right.
What's yours, B?
My biggest disappointment, man, I was so excited for this movie. This was kicking off kind of the next round of movies that I love, and it just
Yeah.
Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, right? We're through Endgame. We're done with Thanos. Who's the next big bad guy? Let's set up Kang. I have really enjoyed the Ant-Man and Wasp movies.
Yeah.
And this one just felt so different. And it felt like, I know that they're in the quantum realm and it was just a lot of CGI, but this was too much. It was too much CGI. I just could not get invested in like anything in the movie. I liked Kang, but was also like, is this the bad guy, or like it wasn't really clear. Is this the same guy from the Loki show? And I was kind of left like, I was left not wanting more. Like, as kind of sad as that was, I finished it and I was like, okay, well, I'm not really interested in what comes after this now, which is like the exact opposite of how I'm supposed to be feeling about this movie that's supposedly kicking off this whole new phase of Ant-Man. And so it was just a bummer. I was so excited for this, and I saw it and was just kind of sad coming out of it, because I was like, oh crap, I don't think I liked that movie. So it's my biggest disappointment.
I almost put Creed 3 as my biggest disappointment.
That was your most anticipated movie of last year.
I know. I was at that's the whole thing. I was like, I almost put that. I mean, it was a letdown.
Michael B. Jordan just sitting there watching this, going, "Hey, what's up, man? Just enjoying the punchies," and he just gets a random straight right to the chin.
Funny because I actually wanted more of it. It seemed like it was like I want a director's cut where there's more. It seemed like there was more to it, and they cut it down because I don't know why.
It felt very rushed. Like that whole movie was very rushed. Yeah. All right. Next, we have our special categories. So last year, Charlie had his special category of movies or of TV shows that Brody and Dylan haven't seen. And so we said, hey, you know what? Let's expand this so that we each get a category. So, Charlie, what is your special Charlie exclusive category?
My special Charlie exclusive category, and let me see if I can phrase this the right way. Fantastic TV shows from 2023 that Brody and Dylan will say sound cool, but also will never watch. So I put 9 on the list, including the aforementioned my favorite surprise, my favorite returning, and my favorite premiere show, because you guys are never going to watch this, and that's fine. That's fine. I put Upload on here, which Brody tried like an episode of and gave up on. Season 3, fantastic. I think you should leave. You guys would probably watch it if you had access to Netflix, but man, this is, you've probably seen memes of this everywhere. If you see a guy in a hot dog suit saying, you're probably looking for the guy who did this, or if you hear anybody referencing 55 burgers, 55 fries, or anything like that. Anyway, A lot of very quotable moments. Shrinking was fantastic. Slow Horses is amazing. Primo, a fantastic new show, a little sitcom on Freevee from the mind of Shea Serrano, based on his life. Shea Serrano's a fantastic writer. If you don't know Shea Serrano, you should look him up. His stuff is great. The show is great, and it's free, and it's on like so many best of 2023 lists, and yet they have not announced a second season. I just sometimes TV makes me angry. Daisy Jones and the Six, a little mini series on Amazon Prime. Man, I tell you, it's been a long time since I've seen something about music that just like I thought, man, the music is so well done, and it's just like I was so engrossed by it, and it's got kind of a loose base on like the Fleetwood Mac story. It is really well acted. The music, they wrote real songs for it. It's got a good soundtrack, and it just reminded me of everything I loved and hated about being in bands. These are 9 fantastic television shows that you will never see.
That's not true. I'm gonna watch Silo. Mark my
Yeah, okay.
words.
You got 3 months, and I'm taking the under.
Charlie, you wanna hear something funny?
I do.
So when I was building this slide deck, and you sent me this text with your wording, I read it as fantasy shows that Brody and Dylan will sound cool, but we'll never watch. And I got like probably 2/3 of the way through adding the posters, and I was like, I didn't realize Shrinking was a fantasy show. And like, I just kept going, and then I was like, are all of these fantasy shows? And I went back and looked at the text. I was like, oh, it says fantastic. Oh, that makes a lot more sense now.
That's great.
So, no, I'm gonna watch Silo. I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll watch any of the others though.
Yeah.
No, maybe I'll watch The Bear. I might plow through The Bear just to make you happy.
Well, all right. If you watch that, then we'll force Dylan to watch it, and then we can do an episode about it.
Oh, there we go.
So anxiety induced.
No, you're gonna love it.
All right, Tudong. What's your special Tudong category?
My category is best fight scene. And
Ooh.
I'm going to be very honest. I mean, there weren't a lot of good fight scenes out there. I don't know if you guys have watched Blue Eye Samurai. My brother Reed told me about this, and I watched a bit of it, and I've got to admit, the Mizu versus the Thousand Claw Army, absolutely fantastic. I am not going to ruin the actual fight scene, but I will say that the voice work in it is excellent. The Maya okay, I can't say that word, but George Takei is in it, and we've got Masioka from Heroes. You've got a whole bunch of people like Randall Park, Kenneth Branagh. Interestingly, I forgot about
Oh,
it.
interesting.
You got Kerry Hiroyuki Tagawa. You've got, I mean, Ming Na Wen from the Joy Luck Club. You've got lots of people in it. Have either of you guys watched any of this yet?
This is on my list. I just recently got Netflix because I did a bundle with. Anyway, you don't have to hear about my bundling and saving, but just got Netflix back finally. So,
Nice.
but maybe you will in my predictions. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about bundling and saving.
Nice. I've got a. I didn't even love this. The 6th season and final season of Cobra Kai is supposed to be coming this next year.
There you go.
Bit on there, but I will say this is excellent fight scenes, excellent show, high recommendation.
Interesting.
Beautiful.
Maybe when I get Netflix. I don't know when I'm getting Netflix.
I'm excited to watch this.
Either way.
All right, my special category is the best theater experience that Charlie and Dylan missed out on.
Yeah.
Because
that's why you asked me that. Okay.
I was like, well, because I just had best theater experience, and then I was like, oh, but if they didn't see it, I can say that they missed out on. Because Oppenheimer, now I didn't see it in IMAX. I heard it was amazing. I saw it in the DFX, which is like the super sound and stuff like that. And so it was still amazing. It was still such an experience. Like the atomic bomb going off with the ultra atmos sound, like was such an experience. And so this was one that I was like, I need to see in theaters. And it just watching it on at home, not the same. Not the same. This was one you should have seen in theaters because it was worth it. So it was.
Why didn't you tell us this when it was in theaters?
I probably did. You guys don't go to the theaters.
I've gone to the theaters. I saw The Flash in theaters.
You saw. I love that you saw The Flash in theaters, but not Oppenheimer.
That was not my choice. That was not my choice. It was not my idea. And I was like, "Are we really doing this?" And they were like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Unbelievable."
I mean, when you think about it, they both have a big flash involved in their storytelling.
Oh,
so.
Very true.
There you go. But yeah, this was a great experience in the theaters. This was something that I'm glad I saw in theaters. Also, I know I've talked about it before. It's slightly off topic, but slightly on topic. So bear with me for just a second. I've often talked about how I missed Interstellar in theaters and how sad I was. It's coming back into theaters in January, and I'm going to see it. And I'm so doggone excited. I just have to put it out there into the universe because I'm so excited to see it in theaters finally.
That I did see in theaters.
Yeah, I think I was right in the midst of like babies. So
Just putting this out there, bro. The time it takes you to get to the movie theater, watch that movie, and get home, that's like season 1 of The Bear. Done. One whole season.
I'll keep that in mind. All right. Best sequel. Charlie, what was your best sequel?
Oh man. So there were a lot of sequels this year, and I'll throw out an honorable mention to Scream 6, which I thought was one of my favorite of the Scream franchises. Sad that seems to be unraveling right now as Scream 7 is hitting a lot of problems. But I thought the cast is great, the movie was great, but not great enough to be the best sequel of the year. And I'll explain why it's not a different movie when I do my best movie. But for now, bring up the John Wick 4 slide because my goodness, this was like just a nonstop festival of genre spinning action, uh, and just from bouncing from different styles of fighting and different locales and homages to westerns and spy movies and kung fu and everything just along the way. Beautiful visuals, and really, quite graphic, not so beautiful visuals as well. Uh, Keanu's a national treasure. There's so few things we can agree on as a populace, but Keanu, protecting him at all costs, I think, is something we can all get behind. And even though this is like what 10 years after the first one, and yeah, maybe he's a little slower in some of his moves than he was when he made. He has that kind of like really grizzled, like he just life is beaten down. He's got that locked up as a niche. But this is just a really really great like spectacle. And I talked earlier about how sometimes I watch movies distracted a little bit, and I'll own that. But so I like it when a movie kind of makes me watch it, like it forces me to watch it, and the practical effects and the fight choreography and the beautiful cinematography. My goodness, I wanted to watch it, and it is long. And if you don't like this kind of movie, you should definitely not watch this movie because it is not like they're not suddenly adding a whole bunch of plot and storyline and like really great dialogue, really witty quips. Like it's not. It's just more of like each movie just got bigger and more grand in its like production and really more ambitious, and this one just really like pulls it off. And if this is Keanu Reeves' last John Wick, it is a beautiful like send off. uh and I don't want to spoil any endings, so I'll just leave it at that. Fantastic.
Nice. I really want to see this, but I have to see the third one first. I'm behind.
You don't, but you could not see it. It's fine. I can explain it to you.
No, I want to see it
though. All right, you're right.
All right, Tudong. What was your best?
Tudong's best sequel. I've got to give love to our boy Tom Cruise. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. Interestingly, it's a sequel and it's part 1. But I don't care. I have always loved these Mission Impossible movies, and I still love this one. Is it as good as Fallout? No, but I mean, I still think it was a really good movie. I liked it. I like they brought Isa Morales in there as the bad guy. He makes a better bad guy than Nicholas Holt. I don't know how they would have really done that. I, I I don't know. I don't get it at all. But Isai Morales was excellent. Everybody was really good. I don't want to bring up any spoilers or any of these kinds of things, but the team is back and they're doing their thing, and I'm always up for that. All of these, as long as they keep churning them out, I'm gonna keep watching. Fantastic. And when are we getting part 2? You guys have seen this already, right?
This was my most anticipated movie of 2023, and I missed it. I haven't seen it, and I don't know when it's coming onto Paramount.
Streaming?
I keep waiting. It's not streaming on Paramount. I keep waiting for some sort of announcement. It came out in like June or July, and it's still not streaming on Paramount Plus.
I saw every one of these in theaters. I thought you guys did too.
I really wanted to, and then I just didn't get around to it. I missed it. I'm so sad I missed it. And look at that, July 12th. It came out in July 12th. It's still not streaming on Paramount Plus. What are we doing? Why do I have Paramount Plus if it's not going to show me this movie?
Because Frasier's on Paramount Plus, bro.
I just want to see Mission Impossible.
You should have watched it in theaters.
I didn't know it was going to take a year to get onto freaking streaming. All right. My favorite sequel was actually it was a really high contender for my movie of the year. And that is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I did see this in theaters. I brought my whole family to see this in theaters. My whole family loves this movie. As soon as this movie came out on streaming, we bought it like on the video on demand, not just like the free stream. Like as soon as it was available, we bought it. We had a movie night in my backyard with the neighborhood. My son dressed up as Prowler for Halloween. Like this movie is so good. It's so good.
You bought it on streaming?
I did. I bought it.
You know you don't own it when you buy it on streaming, right?
That's a conversation for another time.
Okay.
I have access to it through Amazon whenever I want it, so long as Amazon is around.
So you watched it in your backyard, you said?
Yeah, it's great. This is a great movie. I love this movie. I don't know why we don't have any information about Beyond the Spider-Verse, because I want information and I need information about that, because all I want to do is sit and watch these 3 movies back to back. I'll say that now. Yes. I don't even know anything about Beyond the Spider-Verse, but I'll say I'm going to watch them back to back because that's what my family's going to want to do, and we all love it because it's so good. This was a very good movie. So there's my sequel. All right. Transitioning into best movie. Charlie, what was your best movie of the year?
Well, Brody, might as well put that poster back up because, oh man. Oh, I get a different poster. Look at me. Look at me go. Gosh, this movie was good. It's so good. I'm going to argue with you about whatever you pick as your best movie over this, Brody, just so you know. Just be prepared. I was listening very, very intently to how you were describing this movie. I'm going to challenge your whatever you picked over it. We'll save that for later. This was a feast of the eyes. I really love this animation style. I get that, like, this, if I tried to sit my mother down to watch this movie, she would be so angry so quickly and so viscerally at like the animation style that she would walk out and tell me that I was dumb for ever watching it. It's not for everybody, but man, I just love it. And I mentioned with John Wick that I like movies that make me want to watch them, like literally like eyeballs on the screen. And my eyes were glued because I didn't want to miss a single Easter egg. So many funny little moments that happen so quick, and just absolutely like an incredible storytelling, voice acting. The script was great. The animation was great. just all around, just an amazing piece of, and it's such a bonus that this is something that I can watch with the family. Like it adds just like an extra layer of rewatchability to it. Big for me when I'm thinking about movies that are my favorite. So I can't wait to I can't wait for Beyond, but this might get rewatched a lot sooner than that. So it's great.
It's
Great
funny
pick.
when we had our movie night with the neighborhood in our backyard, we had some like an elderly couple. They're like in their 80s. And some of the flashing and stuff like that, I was like, "Oh, I wonder if they're not going to like this." And the husband came up to me afterwards and he's like, "Man, that animation was so neat to watch." And I was like, "Oh, man, that was awesome." So he was even my 80 something year old neighbor Ed was totally into this movie.
I feel like that was a kind of a backdoor insult about my mom, but I'm not gonna be offended by that. We'll just move on.
No, I'm just saying that there's lots of people. I thought that they wouldn't like it because of all the flashing stuff. I thought that that's where they were going to go, but they actually ended up
It's
really
okay.
liking it.
It's okay.
I
My
agree. Your mom
mom could
probably
be
would
20,
not like
20
this
years
movie.
old and she would hate it.
I don't think your mom would.
All right, Two Dog, I can't wait to hear. What's your movie of the year, man? I thought it for sure it was gonna be Flash.
I was thinking about it, but no, no, no. It's Oppenheimer. You got Christopher Nolan. You've got is it Cillian Murphy? Killian Murphy? Every time I
Killian.
can't. I
I
always
think it's
think I get it.
Killian.
And I don't.
Uh,
It's Killian.
Jillian.
Silly, not silly. It's Killian Murphy. I've always appreciated his work way back even at 28 Days Later. I mean, you've got Robert Downey
That's a good
Jr.
movie.
Both of those guys just won Golden Globes, and that's big indicators for Oscars. I really hope that they get it. I'm hoping that this goes all the way when it comes to the Oscars. I mean, yeah, I think this is absolutely fantastically put together, and the fact that they somehow I didn't look into it or anything like that, but like they did the like the nuclear bomb practically, and I was just like, that's if anybody besides Nolan had done that, I would have just been like, very cute. I don't believe you. But yeah, no, this one of the best directors out working right now, and definitely appreciate his work, and I hope he finally gets the. The thing it was I appreciated it to the point of not being able to even discuss it. I thought the acting was good. I liked the directing, and yeah, I thought it was an excellently put together movie. The craft was better than I anticipated. He always surprises me. This director. I always go in thinking I'm not gonna like this. This is ridiculous, but then I'm always shockingly surprised.
Good pick. Charlie, have you seen this one yet?
It's not streaming yet, or if it is, it's not on something I have. It's not streaming that you guys know of, is it?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'm waiting. I'm a kind of a wait and stream these days, but
Unless it's Mission Impossible, in which case it's never going to stream because they're never going to put it out.
they're actually saving it until the part 2 comes out, and then they'll release.
Gosh.
This,
Oh, that's
finally release it on streaming.
This is a very
Bro,
good pick.
This is your favorite too, isn't it?
Dylan, this is a very good pick. I think you guys might actually be surprised about my best movie of the year. Because I don't think you guys would guess it. Want to take a guess?
Oppenheimer?
It's not Oppenheimer.
Oh, it's Super Mario Brothers.
Not Super Mario Brothers.
It's not the Flash, bro. Come on.
Flash. No.
The Marvels.
No.
Oh, Cocaine Bear.
Oh,
No. Cocaine Bear was good, but no. It is, I'll tell you, it's maybe I've got a little bit of recency bias because this was the latest one that I've seen in theaters. But
don't you put Wonka up there. Don't
this
you do it.
movie was so doggone good. The Iron Claw. So you guys know, or maybe you don't know, about my love of professional wrestling. I love professional wrestling. I've loved it since the 80s. I've watched it consistently. I still watch it. You know, I am familiar with the family, the Von Erich family, and just all the tragedies they've been through with all the brothers dying in various ways. You know, familiar with the Texas Tornado back in the WWF days, and just everything that's happened with him. It's always kind of been this story that people who are really into wrestling kind of know about the Von Erichs. And so when this was coming out, and I've got like a big old crush on Zac Efron. He's such a handsome little guy. I just love him. And so I was like, I got Zac Efron, I got professional wrestling, and honestly, I was like, I almost didn't want to see it because I'm like, this movie is going to be too sad. Like I saw The Wrestler, and I walked out of Wrestler being like, that was a great movie, but man, I don't ever want to watch that again because it was too doggone sad. And so then we had some friends that were like, hey, you guys want to go see Iron Claw? And I was like, yeah, and I was kind of nervous. But this movie was so good and it was so well done. And like, aside from a really horrible Ric Flair, like this movie was really good. And I really enjoyed it. And even though it was very sad, it wasn't like this devastating sadness that I felt when I watched something like The Wrestler. It kind of had these light moments and these happy moments, and you're seeing, just this family and the things they go through. And so just, I realized that like a lot of it is just coming from me being such a big fan of professional wrestling and kind of knowing a lot of the background already. But man, I really, really liked this movie. So as I was going through, I was like, oh, there's a couple movies, and I just kind of kept coming back to Iron Claw of like, oh, but Iron Claw was really good. So I just, Spider-Verse kind of fit nicely into my sequels, and Oppenheimer fit nicely into my theater experience. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna put Iron Claw as my best movie of the year.
So I'm not gonna argue with you at all. This is not what I was expecting. I didn't know this movie existed. I would not have even challenged you if there was a wrestling movie that I had known existed. But Brody, the Bears, Jeremy Allen White, he is a fantastic actor.
He plays the Texas Tornado. He plays Kerry.
Just saying.
And he's great. And he's stinking ripped in that movie too. They all are. They are all so ripped in this movie. It made me I wanted to get out of the movie and go work out because I was like, I gotta look better than I do right now. All right.
You're beautiful, bro.
Oh, thank you. So that is our awards. Now, getting into predictions. I know it's a long episode. That's okay. We're having fun. We only do these once a year. We have our predictions. So last year we each did one prediction. This year we're doing 3 predictions. So we're going to go through last year's predictions and we're going to see how we did. Was anybody right on anything? Now, we're going to start out with Charlie's predictions. And I actually worked really hard on this. So we can actually go and watch Charlie's prediction, and then we'll see the results. Let's watch. All right, so that was Charlie's prediction was that there would be less than 4. All right, so there was 4 movies, Charlie, that made over 400 million, and you guessed that there would be less than that.
Didn't I say less than 5?
You said less than 4. You said there would be less than last year.
Wait, where are you getting your numbers? Because I have domestic. I only have 2 over 4. I have Super Mario Bros. And Barbie. According to Box Office Mojo.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at. So I had last year. So this was last year. So we had Top Gun.
Oh, that was last year.
Black Panther.
Sorry, it's so tiny I can't see it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, this was 2022. So I just wanted to kind of preface that by saying there was 4, and those were the 4. But yeah, so you were correct, Charlie. I did not think you would be correct, but you were correct. How do you feel? You want to make an acceptance speech because you were so correct?
No, I feel good. I I said, I predicted in spite of the fact that there had been a lot of holdover COVID movies with a lot of big tent poles, that box office wouldn't grow as much as people wanted it to, and I kind of bet the under, and it worked out, paid off. So maybe this year's prediction, maybe I'm going to double down. You'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and there was some big movies. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse didn't make 400. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 did not make over 400. Shocked. Oppenheimer did not make over 400.
So, and neither did Mission Impossible.
Neither did Mission Impossible. Yeah, I just grabbed the top 5 here, but yeah, wild.
Yeah, Ant-Man, John Wick. Yeah, it was
I thought there was no way.
Taylor Swift Eras Tour though, 179. Powerhouse. A lot of there's some unexpected ones in the top 20.
All right, now let's go to Dylan's prediction. All right. So Dylan said, in case you couldn't hear, because this was, if you guys remember when we did this, Dylan had just moved, so he was in like a completely empty apartment, so there was an echo. But Dylan said that Nathan Fillion would have a knockout at the box office, whether in the movie he was going to knock somebody out or he was going to be in a movie that was a knockout. And so I found this. So, Dylan, I'm going to give it to you because he knocked out Drax, man. No, he didn't punch him.
No.
He didn't punch him like you said he might, but he used a big gun. He knocked out Drax the Destroyer.
Bro, since this is a family channel, I'll save the Patreon to say what kind of a gun he shot Drax with. But he shot him all right. He knocked him right off his feet, knocked him out. And okay, Guardians of the Galaxy, he was in a movie that made a good amount of money.
Yeah.
Not over 400 million, but
yeah.
No, but it went across the 300 million domestic threshold. So it was good. It was good.
So there you go. You got your knockout. You got your knockout.
Nice. Yeah, knocking out Drax. He deserved it.
All right. My prediction. All right. Oh. So, for reference, Sonic the Hedgehog, 63% for the critics score, 93% for the audience score. And Super Mario Brothers, 59% critic score and 95% audience score. I'm surprised. So close.
I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. I'm going to give it to you because it was number 2 at the worldwide box office. So I'm going to give it to you either way because that's way more important than these ridiculous scores.
No, but that wasn't my prediction. I said it had to be the critic score and the audience score. And I thought, okay, 63% critic, I think we can beat that. 93, I don't know about that. Somehow it was reversed. Somehow it got a 59 with the critics and a 95. I was like, come on, man.
I still say you got it.
And then, just as a bonus, because I did have a backup. Look at you guys laugh at me. So, the DC for 2023 came out with 4 movies with a domestic of 314 million and a global of 868 million. Marvel came out with 3 movies with a domestic of 657 million and 1.5 billion. So even though DC came out with a whole extra movie on top of Marvel, they still were like almost half of the global. So I was way wrong. I was like, they're coming out with 4 movies. You've got something like Flash, and Blue Beetle I didn't think would do well. Shazam, I thought maybe it'd be one of those ones that people really gravitate towards. The first Aquaman did really well, and granted, that came out and there was only like 2 weeks until the end of the year because I only counted 2023. But yeah, no, I was way wrong. So there's our last year's, our 2023 predictions. So now we're getting into our 2024 predictions. So Charlie, what's your first prediction?
So I'm predicting that for the first time since the 2019 to 2020 calendar year, when obviously COVID wreaked havoc on the box office, that we're going to see a decrease in the overall domestic gross of movies in general for the whole year. So just for reference, it's gone up. It was 2 million or 2 billion, 4 billion, 7 billion, and then last year was 8.9 billion. I did say if you listen to more of that clip of my predictions that we're not getting back to, I don't think we're ever getting back to double digits and the billions. And so my prediction this year, even though you get an extra day to go see movies this year because it is a leap year, we are going under, and that my predictions more like 7.5. This is a year of sequels. There is just nothing but wall-to-wall sequels coming out. I think we're going to get less than 4 movies crossing. I'm lowering the bar, and I'm keeping this at. We're going 4 less than 300 million this year. Brody said, "Be a little bolder in your takes next time because you got that last one right, and we don't want you to ever get another one right ever again." So I am doubling down. I am betting against the box office. Do you know, Brody, that if I take my 4 kids and wife to see a movie where I live at my local movie theater without any discounts, it costs me $93.
Oh, jeez.
And that's without buying any snacks. I will not be going. No, I will not be going to see movies in the theater. They keep making the experience worse and more expensive, and I can't afford. I can. Hey kids, you want a year of Hulu, or do you want to go to one movie? So it's like, all right, well, we're gonna stay home with our streamers. But anyway, so I box office. Can I say it? Can I say a fun word?
Yeah,
Brody.
Sure. I guess
the theme of all my predictions is one of my favorite new words that I heard for the first time in 2023. I believe it is coined, and I would love to give credit, and I think I wrote that down somewhere, and then I think I don't have that with me. But it is the enshittification of things, and it's basically when it's like how platforms die, and they're good to their users, and they abuse their users to make things better for their business, and then finally they abuse those business customers to claw back value for themselves, and then they die. And it's kind of more like online platforms. You can see this modeled, even to an extent, with like Amazon or Facebook. Not that Amazon's dying, but like just the customer experience where they set all their prices low. People get excited to use Amazon, and then once everyone's hooked on using Amazon, the prices come up, the fees come up. And where else are you gonna go? Where are you gonna shop? Right. And so you're kind of just all right there. Facebook, MySpace had it's happening with streaming services right now. We're getting more expensive in ads, but nowhere is it more evident than in the movie theater. Less people are going to theaters. What are we gonna do? We're gonna charge more money for our tickets. We're gonna charge more money for our food. And you know what? You're not getting any kind of a better experience. Now I know what you're thinking, Brody. Go to the recliner theaters. Yeah, let me go spend $25 a ticket so I can go sit in the comfy seats. And no, I will not be doing that. So it's the same movie theaters that I was going to as a child are still here, charging me 3 times as much to go see a movie or 4 times as much. No, movie theaters are dying. It's a dying industry, and they're going to try to scrape as much meat off of the bone on their way out. And every year for my prediction show, I'm going to do something negative about movie theaters. Take that, Oppenheimer movie theater experience.
Charlie, next time you're up here visiting me, you and I are going to go see a movie, and it's going to be on me.
Oh, all right. Well, all right. Now you're talking.
Because I get $5 movie tickets from my work.
Jerk. $16.50 for me to go see a movie. By the way, $16.50. Oh my goodness. If I just want to go by myself.
That's wild.
Just buy the DVD.
Tudong, your first prediction.
My first prediction is that Nathan Fillion will headline a movie that will be a sleeper hit, which means it'll make more money than predictions would say. I don't actually see him doing a movie, but instead of it being like a knockout hit or a blockbuster, I'm going to go sleeper hit. Come on, he's got to make something like that. Sooner or later, it's going to happen. He's gonna go ahead and headline some movie, and it's going to somehow get out there. Maybe it will not be a big blockbuster, but it'll be there. I'm going a little bit lower with my expectations. Instead of he takes over the box office, fine. He'll take over the critics or what have you. Take over the country with his charm. That's all he has to do.
Do we know, is he scheduled to headline a movie this year?
Here's the funny thing. He's not. But it doesn't matter because he's Nathan Fillion. He'll figure out a way. I believe.
He'll find a way.
This is as low as the standard could possibly go with Nathan Fillion. I can't go lower than this. It's this, or we're talking Oscars. We're talking like $1 billion Barbie movie. That's the only other ways. Like we can't go lower than a sleeper hit. It's Nathan Fillion.
Best of luck to you, buddy.
He'll figure it out. He'll make it happen.
Hey, this could be the year that Skincare comes out, a thriller with Elizabeth Banks and Bill Pullman's son, Lewis Pullman. Could be the year. There's no year listed, so
I don't think 2024. Ran Legacy and him playing Guy Gardner. Why couldn't he just have played why couldn't he just been Hal Jordan? Why couldn't they just have cast it right for once? They were right there and give him Guy Gardner. Preposterous. That's my first prediction.
There you go. All right. And my first prediction, it's funny, Charlie, that you mentioned the sequels. Because I haven't even looked at a lot of the slate, but I was like, I bet that the top 5 box office movies will all be sequels. I don't think there's going to be one movie in the top 5 that's going to be like an original first of its series. I think they're all going to be sequels. Because I can think of a bunch of sequels. Granted, I don't know of any big ones that are scheduled to come out that are the first, but I'm just thinking okay, so we've got some superhero ones. We've got Joker. We've got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. We've got Dune. We've got just a bunch of sequels. And I was like, man, it sounds like there's a lot of sequels. So maybe this one was too
Gladiator
easy.
Sequel. There's a Twister sequel. I mean, my goodness, it's just a sequel palooza. Yeah. Despicable Me. Did you say that one?
So maybe I made this one too easy. I apologize if I did.
King Kong sequel.
No, it's both, because I mean, something could sneak in the way that Barbie kind of did. The Fall Guy looks really fun.
Sure.
With your boy Gosling, that could be a big hit. You never know.
Sure.
We'll see. Screwing it up for you, bro.
We'll see. All right, Charlie, your second prediction for 2024.
All right, so this is not my second prediction. Although I appreciate the Tom Cruise sentiment. This is also not my second, although I do appreciate more Nathan Fillion content whenever possible. I can just say mine.
Yeah, just say yours. Sorry, I messed up the slides.
So no, it's okay. And I will say that with each of my predictions, the conviction is smaller as we go. But I wanted to do one for movie, one for the just the business side of things, and then one for television. So my business side is my number 2. Despite all the swirling rumors that are going around that Paramount Plus is maybe in talks to merge with some big streaming service, right now the hot topic is that it's going to be Max. And earlier it was just other rumors were is it going to get folded into Apple or Netflix or Prime? It will not merge this year. It's not happening. I don't think this is the year that it's going to happen. I think that it will happen eventually. I think that the way that the natural Darwinism of this marketplace is going to be that these smaller ones are going to be gobbled up. But I think
Mm.
there's going to be enough. I think Paramount is going to really lean into like uh, bundles and aggregating their streaming services. Like, so for instance, with my Verizon wireless plan, they gave me an end of the year deal where like 1 year of Paramount Plus and I get a free year of premium Netflix. So
Nice.
that's like, all right, I'll do that, no brainer. And I think you're going to just see more of that. I think that it's got still has the NFL, which is a huge just money juggernaut. I think it's going to be just enough to kind of hang on. I think that a lot of the other streaming services probably aren't interested in taking on the debt that Paramount Plus has. Max is kind of it's fun to think about, but they also just went through like 2 mergers in like 6 years, and I don't know if they would, they're finally like looking ahead and thinking, hey, we're going to be profitable soon as we cancel all of our movies TV shows
Yeah.
instead of releasing them, and then why don't we just bring in Paramount Plus and all this debt? So while it could happen tomorrow and I look like a big idiot, I'm gonna say that we're at least another year away from seeing some of these streaming services get gobbled up. So
Now, I one of my predictions was actually going to be that there was going to be a merger, but I was like, oh, there's all these talks of like Paramount merging with somebody, so that didn't work out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Paramount.
yeah, the Hulu Disney app is gonna be like they're gonna kill that standalone Hulu app. That's sad, but
I thought that was
That
going to
doesn't
happen.
count.
I think that was my prediction like 2 years ago, was that Hulu and
Yeah,
Disney Plus were going to merge, and they still haven't. There's some shows that are running like parallel, but they haven't merged them yet.
yeah.
All right, Tudong. Well, this is actually your second prediction because I messed up my copy
There are
paste.
people there are other people who are trying to make a movie in actual space, but Tom Cruise is one of them, and I think he's going to get to it first. I can't remember who the other people are who are trying to get a movie out of there, but I think he's going to get to it
James
first. That's what
Cameron?
my prediction is. This year, he's getting his space film in actual space before
I
other
have
people.
I have no idea what he's gonna do next, but I just feel like Tom Cruise is trying really hard to die in a stunt for one of his movies. And I really appreciate his commitment to the craft, and it's really fun to watch the behind the scenes Mission Impossible things where he's like literally hanging off of airplanes or jumping off of cliffs and hanging on helicopters and doing his
Yeah.
thing, and now literally just going to space. I don't know. I'm gonna be the first guy to take my helmet off in space for 10 seconds or something. I don't know what he's gonna do, but he is just it's amazing the stunts that he works in. I, I hope he is the first.
And if he does do it, I hope it's for the next Mission Impossible. What other movie would you do that for? It would have to be a Mission Impossible thing.
I think
I'm
he's working with Doug Liman right now, and he's not scheduled to make a Mission Impossible movie. No, no.
What part two? What about part two? Is that already made?
Doug Liman is still not directing that. It's still
Macquarie.
Macquarie, right?
Yeah. I'm just saying, is that it? Did they film
The
part two
space one
already?
is supposedly being directed by Doug Liman, who is not directing Dead Reckoning Part 2.
I tell you what it's gonna be, Brody. My
Yeah.
childhood dream is finally coming true. They are making a Robotech movie in
Ooh.
space with
And actual
and Tom Cruise built the actual mecha from the manga. He's gonna be in a literal jet that transforms into a robot, and he's just like, hey, we had to do it. Had to make it practical effects.
I love it. I love it. All right.
spot on Tom Cruise impression.
My other prediction is that there will be no superhero movie that is higher than 70% on the tomato meter.
Really?
Oh, I didn't specify
It-
critic or audience.
That's what I
I'll,
was gonna ask.
I'll say critic because that's easier.
Now, does the Joker sequel count as a superhero movie, even though there's no? Would it be a super villain movie?
I will talk about that next year.
It depends. It depends on what the score is.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
it comes in below 70, then it absolutely counts.
Well, I originally had something about streaming, but I was like, oh, but I want to do something about superhero movies getting worse. And so,
I have no idea if this Joker musical sequel is going to be the thing that nobody asked for and nobody wants. And it's like the people that would want to see a Joker sequel are like, I'm not going to go watch a musical. The people that want to watch a musical are like, I'm not going to go watch a Joker musical. Or if like Barbenheimer, it's going to be like the perfect summer social media frenzy, and just people will flock to it in like half Joker, half Harley Quinn outfits or something, and it's going to become a phenomenon. I just have no idea what to expect, other than this has got to be the weirdest. This is a weird year for movies. There's some weird stuff that's coming out, man.
Yeah,
Some weird
Joker.
stuff.
I think Joker might be like the wrench in this prediction, because I feel like it could be one of those ones that critics are like, ah, this is great, and the audience score will be super
It's not
low.
a
But then,
superhero movie, bro.
well,
I
we'll
mean,
see.
maybe I'm in the minority, but I wouldn't count a musical about the Joker as a superhero movie. There's no hero in it.
Okay,
I
what
mean, there's
about
literally no
Deadpool
hero.
3?
Yeah,
That's
That's
Deadpool
a
gotta be
superhero.
good.
3. Deadpool 3 could. We'll see. I don't know. I don't think the critic score was very high on the
But
second
Hugh
one.
Jackman, bro. You got Hugh Jackman coming back as Wolverine.
Remember, Brody hates
I don't
those
hate
movies.
Deadpool. I
Deadpool.
don't hate Deadpool.
That's true. You've
I
hated
don't.
those movies forever.
I don't. What was Charlie?
Yeah, you're
Can you Bing? What was the tomato meter for Deadpool 2?
85%. Oh,
Oh,
sorry, Deadpool. The
2.
Deadpool one was 85 critic, 90 audience, and then sorry, I'm giggling to myself because of your reaction. And then Deadpool 2, which you think was probably the worst of the two, correct? Came in at like a nice crisp 84,
Oh man, I'm so
and then an
screwed.
85 audience. So yeah, you're
way above.
Screwed. I'm screwed. This was a bad
but hey,
prediction.
you're
It's
just
okay.
saying this is going to be a bad movie.
It's okay.
Hey,
I'm
they
not
don't
saying
have
it. No, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm actually looking forward to it. I just don't think that critics are going to like it.
Critics
You're
are going to hate it.
I don't know.
Good.
All right, let's move on.
Critics are frequently wrong.
Charlie, your third prediction, third and final prediction.
I don't even want to tell you guys how much time I spent thinking about how to come up with a TV prediction, and how many times I just kind of yammered at my wife, who just kind of looked back at me blankly as I was like, all right, how do I make a prediction out of? I want to say everything's just gonna get worse. I was like, Brody, can I make my prediction that everything in television is just gonna get worse? Can that just be my prediction? He's like, how would we measure that? And it's like, all right, so he wouldn't let me go with just it's gonna get worse. Everything's gonna get more expensive and less. All the shows that you love are gonna get canceled. The world is a dark and terrible place. So instead, I went with something positive. This will not happen. This will absolutely not happen, and it probably won't happen this year. But the NBA streaming rights and television rights are coming to an end, and this is like the first big major sport, unless you're counting the deal that Apple did with soccer. But like of the big three, so NBA, MLB, NFL,
WWE.
where I just yeah, right. Where like and then the NBA really like appeals to younger people. Like it is like part of their business model is to be global and to appeal to a younger audience. Whereas MLB's business model seems to be just like, hey, old people will live long enough, and I say that as a lover of baseball. And NFL's just like, hey, we're the NFL. What are you gonna do? Watch something else? Forget about it over this. Uh, so if there in my lifetime could be a sports league that finally lifts the local blackout restrictions. I have not watched a baseball game on my television since I cut the cord from cable like 6 or 7 years ago.
Hmm.
I love baseball. I have not watched a game because I can't watch the Angels. If I buy the MLB.com streaming package, I cannot watch the team that I want to watch because it is blacked out locally. And I'm not going to buy cable just so I can watch baseball.
Oh, weird.
So my kids are growing up. They know that I like baseball, but if you ask them what my favorite sport is, they'd say football because that's the one they see dad watch. Because that's the one that I can watch on a nice little streaming app, and I can follow my fantasy teams. By the way, won my dynasty league this year. Thank you very much.
Nice.
Championship. And so if the NBA can structure a deal that finally gets like, look, people are leaving cable at record numbers. Like there are more and more cord cutters, and if you want your sport to grow, you need to appeal to a younger audience. And younger audiences are watching on their phones, they're watching on their tablets, and they want to watch the teams that are local to their area. It's very simple, and we have not been able to figure this out yet. So I'm hoping that the NBA can do it, and I'm really curious to see what kind of deal ends up. If it's going to be like just something like maybe like a Peacock comes in and gives them a huge offer, or if they kind of stick kind of like with the ESPN TNT and then kind of like do a maybe like a little hodgepodge. Amazon Prime has all the Thursday night NFL games. Maybe they do something like that where, hey, a Sunday night NBA games on Amazon Prime, or maybe they get like the tournament or some playoff games. But it could be like where there's exclusive on one streamer, or it could be like there's a bunch of like little streamers kind of doing various. Apple was in talks. I mean, there's a lot of rumors that are swirling, but there aren't a lot of rumors about the local blackouts. I'm just putting it into the universe with all the negativity I spewed on my first two predictions. I'm putting something positive in the universe for the year 2024. Lift the local blackouts, and then MLB will follow suit, and then I can finally watch Angel Game at home on my iPad instead of having to buy cable, which I will not do.
That's
you can do it, NBA. I believe in you.
I had no idea that was like a thing. So that is all news to me.
It's frustrating.
Doesn't Fubo, don't they do like a lot of sports? Do they not do baseball?
So I don't know what is Fubo?
Fubo, it's like a streaming service.
Fubar from Tango and Cash?
No. Fubo, it's like a streaming service, and they boast about having all these sports.
Yeah, they got sports, but it's.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah, I mean,
well, that's lame.
I could get it on YouTube TV as well, or something like that. Like if I want to pay like $40 or $50 a month or whatever, I could do like Sling, and I could buy like or Hulu Live for however much money. I could buy into a package of things that like would allow me to watch baseball games, but it's expensive, just like cable.
Gotcha.
And so like that's just not, we're spending money on other streaming services. It's just not like for one thing, I can't do it. Like, so for instance, for NFL, I just buy the NFL. I bought the NFL Plus thing. It was like $80 for a full year of like every NFL game. Boom, done. Great. Actually, it was less than that. I got a deal on it when it came out. So, and I can watch all the games, start to finish. I can watch the Red Zone. I don't have to pay extra for anything. It's all on my app and my phone. It's wonderful. But the MLB streaming app is the one where you can't watch you're blacked out. So that's the one where it would be convenient. Yeah.
No idea. I just watch wrestling though, and it's all on Peacock. So. All right, Tudong, your third and final prediction.
I think Christopher Nolan's going to win Best Director finally this year. These Oscars for Oppenheimer, I was really, every time I kept almost saying it, or I probably did say it when I was talking about Oppenheimer, I think he's going to finally win the Best Director. That's my prediction.
You think he's going to win Best Picture too?
Well, if the Golden Globes are any indication, then probably, because it won Best Picture for drama. And didn't he win Best Director as well for Best? I know that Cillian Murphy and I know that Robert Downey Jr. both won, but I cannot remember if Christopher Nolan won. I think so, because that probably would have prompted me to think this.
I know he gave a speech because I kept reading about the Peloton thing.
Then he probably won. He's not giving speeches for nothing. He's giving speeches for awards. They win.
I hope he does.
But even if he didn't win the Golden Globe, either way, I'm thinking this is finally his year. Come on.
Charlie? I think that's a spot on prediction. I think at least the director part, I think he's going to win for sure. Hey, bro, just to put a pin, $75 for the cheapest Fubo plan a month.
Oh gosh, never mind. Forget I said anything. Oh, that's crazy. You might as well have cable. At least you get other channels.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good one, Dylan.
I like that call, Dylan. I like that call.
I still won't watch the Oscars, but
oh yeah, neither will I.
I'm a little disappointed that you didn't do a Brody's boy for prediction number 3. You got your boy and my boy into your predictions, and then you left Brody out to dry.
Which boy?
My predictions.
No Henry Cavill. Like he did a Fillion and a Cruise, but no Cavill.
True. That's a good point.
Henry Cavill's winning Best Director. 24 Oscars.
Highlander. But that's already happening.
He is coming out with Argyle this year that I am so excited about because it's a Matthew Vaughn movie with Henry Cavill in it. It's going to be amazing. Oh, and I think John Cena's in it too. So there you go. All right.
The look on your face, bro, the way you like almost stroked your chest, that was beautiful. Wow.
All right. My third and final prediction is that Kathleen Kennedy will step down as president of Lucasfilm and will be replaced by either Dave Filoni or Jon Favreau. I think her contract may be coming up this year. I think. And so if that's the case, I'm guessing that she does not pursue like carrying on with this, and that I originally just had Dave Filoni, but I know he just got a promotion to like chief creative officer of Lucasfilm. And so I thought, well, if he just got that, would they immediately want to push him up to president? You know, so that's why I kind of threw Jon Favreau in there. I don't know if Favreau is really invested in a lot of this Star Wars stuff right now, and so he's got his hands in a lot. And so I thought, they just if Disney wanted to kind of look at putting a creative kind of in charge of something, kind of like what DC and Warner Brothers did with James Gunn, kind of taking the reins of all of DC, maybe they would want to kind of follow that up with bringing in a creative person like Jon Favreau to kind of head up that whole universe. So it could be either one. We'll see, but I think Kathleen Kennedy is going to step down.
Interesting.
You got some inside information on that? What makes you think she's stepping down?
She's been doing it for a long time, and I don't think that Star Wars is the force that it was years ago. And the Force. I didn't even
the Force. Sorry.
I didn't even put that together until you pointed it out. I it's not making the money that it used to right now. Like the Star Wars universe is Disney Plus shows. Like I don't even think that they had some movies announced that they have since kind of canceled.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And so I just think that they could be looking for maybe some kind of fresh insight into how they can kind of rebuild this Star Wars universe. And so, but yeah, I don't know. It was just.
I did not know that. I didn't know her contract was coming up.
I think it is. I could be wrong about that, and if it's not, then I'm totally screwed. So, if it's like, yeah, no, her contract's till 2030, it's like, well. All right. Well, that is the final slide of this mega episode. Boy, this is an 1.5 hour long episode, but we covered a ton of stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Split it in two.
I thought about it, but
dead right.
That's okay.
Part one.
Hey, if you are still listening to this, a quick pro tip, and we might talk too fast for this to be tenable for you, but I've begun listening to all my pod 1.5 speed. You can even do that with YouTube videos. You can increase the watch speed. So if you are strapped for time but want to see a whole episode, just make us talk real fast. I would start maybe incrementally, working your way up before you get to the 1.5. I tried to go straight from 1 to 1.5, and it was very jarring. But 1 to 1.25, and then I was when I finally got used to that, and then I went up to that 1.5. Maybe someday in the not too distant future, I'll go 1.75. You just give me that information, give it to me fast. So,
wow.
Pro tip for you guys. Change the speed. Make us faster.
But is that going to mess with our algorithm? Because it does measure the amount of time that people watch. So if they're watching a full episode, like if they're watching an 1.5 hour long episode, and it only takes an hour, then it's going to bring down our stats some.
That's okay.
But isn't it better that they do that?
You know what they should do? Watch it at 0.25 speed.
And then watch it again.
All right. Well, Brody and I have different visions for how you might finish this episode, but if you put us at 0.25, let us know in the comments. You're a true hero of the podcast.
All right. Yeah, Charlie, go ahead and let's close this one out.
Yeah. Well, if you
let's let these people get out of here.
The absolute best. We want to wish you a happy holidays and happy New Year. and cannot wait to spend 2024 hopefully entertaining you and getting to interact with you. It's going to be a great year together, and we will see you next week.
Check out our Patreon.